Hi guys, let's have a look at how to create a cartoon text effect in Affinity Photo on the desktop or the iPad. Now I'm doing this one on the iPad because it's just easier for me that way. Now it's suitable for both iPads and desktops, and you can use Photo or Designer, but in this case I'm using Photo. And anyone who says you can't bend and warp text in Photo, well, they just haven't looked deep enough. It's there alright. So cartoon effects are a lot of fun, and in this tutorial I'll show you how to create an easy cartoon text effect using a halftone pattern and a layer. Now the resources for this you'll find on the Envato Elements site, and there'll be links to this in the description below the video. And the following assets were used: the Brady Bunch Remastered font, the red dots pattern background, and the stars background. Now before you start creating the cartoon text effect, download and install the font into Affinity Photo, and also download the background. That's the star effect. If you use those exact ones, it'll look really nice. Now, how to load a document background. We'll use the stars background from the tutorial assets as our document background. It's an 850 by 600 pixel JPG file. Go to File, Open, and open the star background JPG. This is assuming you've downloaded it already and you know where you've stored it. Now, this text effect is made of one layer, so you can save it as a new style in your styles palette if you want to go to all that trouble when you are done. And this is step 1. Pick the type tool and select the Brady Bunch Remastered font. Set the font size to around 212 point. Write the word SMASH with capital letters and with any colour. Now we need to stretch the letter spaces. Select the text layer and then go to the character panel and change the tracking to -20. You can see tracking there, it's in the drop down panel. Change it to -20, and that squishes the letters up a little bit. So already we're modifying the letters. Now we're going to move on to warping the text, but we have to do a few things before we do that. The last step before we start applying the layer style is to warp our text. In Affinity Photo, this is going to take a few extra steps for us. So, convert the word SMASH to curves. We have to do this first because I want to modify each letter before we warp the word. We can't do this after warping because warping converts the word to a pixel layer, and I don't want it as a pixel layer just yet. Let's see how this works. Select the S in the SMASH word and apply the following stroke style by selecting the pen tool. Add a stroke with these settings. Size 10 pixels, and you can see I've got in the colour bar there, it's a red stroke. I've tapped on the right hand circle at the top there. There's a white, a red, then an eyedropper and then a white circle. Well, I've tapped on the red one, that circle, and changed it to red. That changes your stroke to red. Now I've made that stroke a width of 10 pixels. You can see in the context toolbar on the bottom of the screen. There's your red colour for the stroke and your pixel size for 10. If you haven't done that before, just fiddle with it until you get it right. It's no great drama. Now the lettering, repeat the same on all the letters. This gives us a nice bright cartoon effect to start with. Each of the letters has the 10 pixel outline and it's coloured red. Now let's add some colour. Switch to the other circle. See at the top we've got a green circle and a red circle now, and the white circle on the right, but the one on the left we've changed that to green. That's your fill colour. Now that's filled the letters to green. Now, using the FX Studio, add a gradient fill as an outline to each letter. It's outside alignment and a 10 pixel radius. Orange on the left and green on the right for the gradient. It's very simple to do. You can see in the Layer FX menu there, I've switched outline on, and you tap on the outline word, on the word outline, and it brings up the context toolbar. Everything's the same except the radius is 12 pixels and the alignment is outside and the fill type is gradient. And you can see right next to it there's a little square with orange and green. Now the big circle, you can see the rectangle there where the gradient is. The right hand side, it's a larger circle, that's where I select green. To get orange on the left, you then tap that circle, and in the little circle below it, select orange. If you haven't done that before, that's pretty easy. Just practice. Now, duplicate that for all letters. So you've got all the letters, SMASH, all the way across there. Green, red, and the outline in the gradient. And you can see that there. Now we put a black outline to highlight the text. Now we duplicate each letter and moving a solid 2 pixel outline in the FX panel. So you go to FX again, and this time you've got normal blend, 100% opacity, a 2 pixel radius, and the alignment is inside. It's a solid colour and it's black. And that will put, you can just see it there, a little black outline around the letters. It just kind of makes it pop a little bit. Now we're ready to do the warping process. Okay, so the duplicating the letters does take a little bit of time, but that's okay. Let's begin by selecting the entire word letter set of layers by selecting the group, not each letter. You can see up the top of the layers panel there, all of those curved letters are in a group. You select the entire group. Go to Filters and select Mesh Warp and select this option. Just tap on the word Mesh Warp, the little icon of the mesh there. Once you do this, you'll not be able to go back and modify the letters, because what it does, it changes it to a pixel layer. You'll now have a rasterized set of words. As it's now in Mesh Warp mode, you can see the context toolbar below, and the word smash is surrounded by a plain white border with little white right squares in each corner. Make sure the Show Mesh icon is selected in the context toolbar, otherwise you won't be able to see that white border. And you can see the iPad's popped up that little message, the assistant rasterizes this layer you previously had selected because it was not a raster layer, and it has to be for Mesh Warp. Okay, so we've done all the lettering first, and then when you're happy with the lettering, you select it. Now that we've got that there, using the Move tool, you can now push or drag the text box into any shape you want by using your pen tool to drag the margins about. Actually, I think you may not need to select the Move tool. Once you've got that Mesh Warp box up there, just use your pen to push the edges around. You can push them into any shape you like. Do not leave this option until you press Apply on the context toolbar. If you move out of that option before pressing Apply, you'll lose all the work. There's one thing left, and you could do this right at the start so that it's only behind the green part of the letters, but I left it till last because I want it throughout the lettering. Place a pattern overlay into the text, and you can see up there where you import the file and then drag it halfway into the pixel layer that makes up the word letters. Select your halftone image and place it on the canvas, then drag it into the text box. You can use any halftone pattern you like. Alternatively, you can add the dots so they are only in the green space. The options are unlimited. Now there's a much smaller dot pattern. I change the dot pattern and the word is now complete. You have an eye-catching comic graphic. And there it is with the large dots, and there it is with the small dots. That's it for this one. Thank you for watching. I hope you find it useful.